So guys, I want to ask you something. What do you think is the most prohibited word in our society? We assume that everyone does it, but we must never talk about it because good girls don't talk about it. So while we spend millions on the big fat Indian weddings, we assume every time that a woman conceives a child, we assume that the man and women never did anything. Because obviously people from good families don't do it. And even if they do it, they must never talk about it, and least of all in front of their parents. So, what do you think, where do the children in Indian households get their sex education from? Well, nowadays with everyone owning a cell phone and having access to internet and all kind of websites, they can. But even today, the biology teachers are going to ask you to skip that chapter and ask you to do self-study. But few days ago, people would hire a VCR, a video cassette recorder, and then go to this cassette hire shop and have this awkward conversation with the guy. And most probably when you come home with that cassette, you would not find any useful information. Fast forward to the present times. Now, I told myself that since my parents never gave me any sex education, I am going to be a very conscious parent. And I must admit that I was over eager to pass on the information to my children. So, I must say that before they use any wrong means to get one. So, while they were kids, I would talk to them about good touch and bad touch. And as they became teens, and the first time my son came home with a girlfriend and he closed the door of his room. I knocked at the door. I said, please use protection. So now we look back, he laughs at it. He says, Mom, what were you even thinking? We barely just held hands. But I was like, you never know, they're millennials. The second time we had a conversation was about consent. We had a long chat where I told my son that he must never do anything that a girl doesn't like or want. You should ask her what she likes. And never persuade a girl, even emotionally, in making her believe that she also wants it. And least of all, never force yourself on anyone. So now I was super proud of myself because I thought we must have conversations about consent with our kids. Now after a few days, my son comes back to me and he says, Mom, you spoke about consent the other day. And you said that I should not do anything that a girl doesn't like. But what if she asks me to do something to her that I don't like? So I said, just say no. Tell her that you don't like it. And if she still insists, just walk out of the relationship. So he looks at me and says, but Mom, you never said that even I could say no. So I just sat there holding my head, telling him that consent is mutual. It's not only for a man to get a woman's consent, but it's true for every gender. And I just realized that how the feminist in me was ignoring the fact that it's vital to have these conversations with every gender, to talk to our kids about sex, to be the first ones to give them sex education so they grow up to be happier and more responsible adults.